Greetings everybody. My name is Enver Sufi. I work in Institute for Organic Agriculture in Albania. I am expert in plant protection and in organic agriculture. The title of our presentation for today is Olive Organic Production. This is a first part because about olive organic production we will have another two lessons. Olive trees in the world and in Balkan countries. Olive trees could say is a Mediterranean plant. That is so because 97% of olive trees are located in Mediterranean region. In Balkan countries, olive trees are grown in Greece, Albania, Montenegro, Croatia and Turkey. Nearly 2.2 million acres of the world's principles of olive organic production. Organic production of olive has as a basis organic agriculture principles in general. The work begins with selection of place of cultivation, soil and relief. Olive trees prefer the rich soil, with deep horizon of the soil and dry. Hills relief are better than fields because olive trees grown in the soil with moisture have healthy problems. Experience of last years tells us that in the cases when the farmers have planted olive trees in heavy soil, olive plants had healthy problems too. The selection of cultivars according to soil and climatic conditions. In the praxis are identified many examples when some olive cultivars are planted in the zones out favorable conditions, climatic conditions, the production and health of the plants has been with problems. It is important that before the planting need to know to have a preliminary information about the behavior of cultivars to main soil and to climatic conditions. We need to know before. Selection of olive block without risk from neighbors' parcels. In order to avoid the influence of neighbors' conventional parcels with olive or another crops, between organic and conventional parcels need to have a isolation zone. If this zone don't exist, need to create it with green belt as with shrubs or bushes or another form like this. It is important to avoid of drops from conventional sprayer, influence on conventional fertilizer, water for irrigation with pesticide residue. Organic olive groves must be away from pollution of industry and each pollution possibility from urban zones. Soil and plant nutrition. According to organic olive standard, are not allowed to use the conventional fertilizer, plant protection, and another conventional inputs. As a source of nutrition elements, we can mention organic manure from animals, compost prepared from different organic matter, green manure, using different plants with big quantity of biomass and nitrogen fixation in its roots, legume plants. organic matter from mulching with planting origin, industrial organic fertilizer allowed in organic agriculture. We see here distribution of organic manure from animals in organic olive groves. Preparation of compost from organic matter in family level. Mulching of olive trees with organic matter in the farm level is a source for plant nutrition in olive groves. Green manure as in the grape we use in olive trees, Vicia faba, Trifolium, and another green plants. We see here the using of organic manure in olive trees. Plant protection of olive trees in organic olive production. First of all, need to know the phytosanitary situation of olive trees in each block and with each zone. Almost in many regions of the world, the main insect pests and diseases in olive groves are more or less the same, but of course not in the same intensity. From insect pests, the most dangerous are olive fly Brachycera olea, olive moth Parisolea, black scale Sycetia olea. Of course, the insect pest with most economic importance in many countries of the world, especially in Mediterranean region, is Brachycera olea, is olive fly. Olive fly control inorganic olive production. Olive fly is key insect pest in olive production. That is so for some reasons. Olive fly is present every year more or less with the same intensity. Cause a big damage. Control measure has a high cost for economy and environment. Olive fly cause direct and indirect damage. Direct damage cause the damage quality of olive fruit, olive pulp. Indirect damage is linked with reduction of quality of production. Infected fruits increase value of acidity of the oil and reduce the quality in general. In this slide we see the biological stages of olive fly. We see here the female of olive fly laying the eggs on the pulp of the fruits. What is interesting to say is the female lay only one eggs per fruit because one fruit is calculated for one larva. If has more, it has not enough food for all the stages of the larva. And the adult release here a pheromone in order to communicate with another female, please don't lay the eggs in this fruit because I have put one egg here. This kind of communication is very complicated, but this is a part of behavior of the insect in the olive groves. In another picture, we see here the eggs under the skin of the pulp and in the fruits. The egg is 3 millimeters long. Another picture, we see the larvae make damage in the fruits. Larvae has the size 2 to 8 millimeters. Next picture is the pupa of the olive fly. Is 3 millimeters. As we know, the pupa is overwintering. With the pupa, the insect survive for next year. Here we see the damage of fruits from olive fly. We see inside the pulp of the fruit, we see the larvae has more or less destroyed the olive fruits. Here we have another picture with the fruits damaging from olive fly. We see here the holes of olive fly larvae, and another picture we see the olive fly inside the pulp that has destroyed the olive fruits pulp. Olive fly biology. Olive fly overwintered in the pup stage. In the June, from the pup hatched the olive fly adult. The flies, after mating, lay the eggs on the olive fruits. The olive fly larva is fed with pulp of the olive fruits. After about 25 or 30 days, transformed in pup stage. The number of the days is according to the climatic conditions. The pup is formed inside the fruit. After hatching, the adult finished the first generation. Olive fly from June to the end of November, according to the climatic conditions, developed 4 to 5 generations. Infection is increased very fast just after first raining days of September. This period, infection is. Here we see the scheme of a biology cycle of olive fly. As I mentioned before, olive fly overwintering is a pup. The pup in June, from the pup hatched adults. The fly adults, the female lay the eggs on the olive fruits. From the eggs hatch the larva. The larva, after some days, is transformed in pup inside the fruits. From the pup hatched again the adult. Adult again lay the eggs. From the eggs hatched the larva. The larva later is transformed in a pup. Pup, adult pup, adult pup, adult pup, and the last pup is a wintering stage for survival of insects for next year. We see here the adult of olive fly. We see eggs in white color, and we see a fruit with a larva inside, and we see the pup, this overwintering stage. This is the biologic cycle of olive fly. In different zones, olive fly developed different generation per year. It depends from climatic condition, from temperature and humidity. Control measure of olive fly in organic olive production system. There are some measures that could integrate for olive fly control. Control measure could divide in two main strategies. The first, control of olive fly adult before the females lay the eggs in the olive fruits. The second, control of the larvae inside the olive fruits. The first method, that has to do with reduction of population of olive fly adults, could use some alternatives. For example, soil cultivation in order to damage overwintering of pup, harvesting with nets or with machinery in order to avoid the infected fruits with pup, combination of animals and chickens for cleaning of infested fruit with pups, selection of olive cultivars with early harvesting in order to avoid at least the 1 or 2 generation of olive fly. This kind of cultivars as Frantoio, Lecino, etc. Are harvesting within the October. As early are harvesting the cultivars, as better is from avoiding of olive fly infection. The herds with sheep and turkeys are part of olive grove ecosystem. Animals and turkeys reduce the olive fruits with larvae or pupes. Geese and ducks reduce the weeds and olive fruits infected from larvae and pupe. This reduces the biological reserve for next year. As we mentioned before, harvesting of olive with nets and machinery save the environment clean from infected olive fruits, reduction of biological reserve for next year. Harvesting of olive trees with equipments. Harvesting period is shorter and is reduced olive fruits on the ground with overwintering pupes that will be infection reserve for next year. Harvesting of olive trees machinery save the olive groves from infected fruits that are biological reserve for next year. This kind of modern mechanization leave the clean environment from infection reserve. Here we see a bad example of harvesting. Many infected fruits, olive fruits, remain on the ground as a biological reserve infection for next year. So many pupes are in this fruit and remain on the ground. This is a bad example. Using of ecotrap for control of olive fly adult. Ecotrap mechanism is attract and kill. The pheromone and ammonium salt attracts olive fly adults, while the insecticide deltamethrin or spinosad inside the package of green paper of Ecotrap kills the adults. It is important to say that Ecotrap need to hang in the olive trees before the adults of olive fly are mating, because the mating female lay the eggs on the olive fruits. The dispenser of pheromone is piercing with needle in order to evaporate the pheromone on the air of olive groves. On the other hand, the package of Ecotrap is blistered with nail in order to stimulate the ammonium salt inside the package of pheromone to evaporate. The Ecotrap package are hung during the middle of the August and could function until the December. The ecotraps are hanged one per tree, or one tree with trap, another one without trap. The ecotraps could hang one or two times within the season. In majority of the cases, are hanged one time per season. This method is very ecologic, but not with full successfully, but play an important role in reduction of olive fly population in the olive groves. Here is described an ecotrap. We see here a green package with deltamethrin residue. If the insects are in contact with green package, they are killed. We see here a white one. This dispenses of pheromone, attract the fly adults, attract the males. The inside the package has acetazole. It attracts male and female adults to contact with green package with deltamethrin. Insecticide residue kill the adults. That perhaps is called this ecotraps is attract and killed. Another simple method for reduction of olive fly population are the bottle filled with diamond phosphate. On the olive trees are hanged the bottles with capacity 1.5 liter, normal bottle for water. The bottle is filled with about 1.3 liter of water. Inside the bottle, put a tablespoon with fertilizer diamond phosphate. On the neck of the bottle are opened by nail 4 holes with 0.0 centimeter diameter. During the DAP fermentation of the olive fly, adults are attracted inside the bottle, and the adults remain in the water of the bottles. This method reduces a little bit the adult population before they lay the eggs on the olive fruits. For each tree could hang a bottle, or one tree with bottle and next tree without bottle. If we have not so much olive trees, it's important to hang many, as much bottles in the olive groves as bigger is the number of olive fly attract in such bottle, and as much bottle as much as population that is reduced with this simple method. This method is used in many countries, especially in the Spain. This kind simple method is used in big surface, and is an integrated pest management element of olive fly control. Here we see an example, a bottle filled with water and diamond phosphate. Using of bioinsecticide with attract and kill mechanism. Such kind of insecticide, for example, we can mention Success 024. This insecticide has inside the protein and bioinsecticide spinosad. Protein attracts the adults of olive fly, while the spinosad kill them. With this insecticide, need to spray only 1/3 of olive crown. With 30 liters of liquid, could spray 100 olive trees, spending only 30 milliliter liquid from each olive trees. With this insecticide, need to spray every 20 days. Method need to combine with monitoring of olive fly. The treatments need to be done before the beginning of laying of each generation, before the olive adults are copulated, are mating, because if they are mating, they are fertile and lay the eggs in olive fruit. Method is simple and effective. Perhaps it is not so used everywhere, but in Mediterranean countries, this bioinsecticide is used more and more with success. In this slide, we see the bioinsecticide Success 024 CB. We see here the mechanism of attracting of spinosad, and you have here the quantity of the product and liquid from according to the distance of the trees in the olive groves. This method is very useful, especially in the slopes, in the hills, because in the normal spraying need a big quantity of the water, and this method use 10 times less water in comparison with traditional methods. Perhaps this method is using more and more in olive groves to reduce the olive fly infection. And in organic agriculture is a good solution. Another product that we use against olive fly is kaolin, or surrounded water powered as insecticide against olive fly. Kaolin has a repellent impact to olive fly. Olive fly don't prefer to lay the eggs on the fruits covered with kaolin. Kaolin must be very fine because it blocks the atomizer of the pumps. Kaolin is used 4 to 5 kilograms in 1 liter of the water, 100 liter of the water. Could be made 2 or 3 treatments per season. If the raining is very heavy, if we have raining days with 15 to 20 millimeters, need to repeat the treatment because the film that covered the green plants is washed. This method is ecologic, but in the practice we have seen some difficulty because block the pumps block the pumps, need a big quantity of the water in the hills and the slopes. It's a little bit difficult to implement, but nevertheless exists as alternative. In organic agriculture, this kind is allowed to use. A demonstration day for monitoring of olive fly with yellow cartons with sticky substances and dispenser of pheromones. Controlling of olive fly in yellow cartons with pheromones. One time per week is need to count the number of the olive fly, but it's important to train the people in order to detect the olive fly, because in such sticky substances we can find the different dipters, different flies, and sometimes the people are in confusion for olive fly. Perhaps need the people to be clear before they count the number of olive flies in the in the traps. We have different models of monitoring means tools from Brachycera olea. Here we see another models for monitoring of Brachycera olea. We have here so-called Macphail traps, and at the same time we have here so-called Dacus stick or Dacus glue trap. Here is monitoring of olive fly pheromone with the type Dacus stick in organic olive for table. We see here a tube with sticky substances, and we see here many adults of Brachycera olea. It is very easy to count. Biological control of olive fly. There are some parasite beneficial insects pests in olive fly, but one of the most effective is Ophius concolor. This parasite is present in olive groves. At the same time, many biofabrics in the same European countries produce this parasite in industrial way and distribute it in olive groves. This parasite reduces olive fly population, but has not enough capacity to reduce the infection in the level of economic threshold, but could use as integrated pest management component. In organic groves, the population of parasite Ophius concolor are higher than in conventional groves, where are used the conventional insecticides. In conventional olive groves, this number is smaller because the conventional insecticide has a bit influence in reduction of this olive fly parasites. This is the last slide for our presentation. We are focused today in such element of organic olive production: selection of place of cultivation, selection of soil, selection of cultivars for organic production, plant nutrition, plant protection with a focus olive fly control in organic olive production. Next presentation, we will be focused in another insect pest and some diseases on olive trees. Thank you very much for your attention, and goodbye to the next lessons.